السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري وأشركه في أمري لكي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi again. We have been studying the section Yasin, 36th section of the Qur'an, and we studied last week verse number 47, and we just left the last phrase in Antum illa fi dalalin mubin, the last piece of the verse for today. So we are going to study this, but let's remember what the verse is saying in general, in a very rough translation. And when they are told, the opponents of the prophets, when they are told, spend on others for their sustenance out of what God has provided for you. The disbelievers say to the believers, why should we feed those that God could feed if he wanted? You must be deeply misguided. Nowadays, we must understand and also admit that not every disbeliever say this. Especially nowadays, they also want to help others. Of course, those, not all of them, but most of them, they don't deny the reality or the human side of helping others, because it is very real that everybody experiences it. But these opponents of the prophets, deliberate enemies of the prophets, say this. I question several things in this verse that we didn't touch upon last week. First of all, those people who don't believe maybe in God as well, but in religion, in Islam, in prophets, definitely, most of them, of course, we don't know who they are, but most of those people nowadays don't believe in prophets, but they follow their human side, feelings, consciousness, awareness, whatever you call them. While they are doing it, they don't really follow the way it should be done according to the teachings of the prophets, because it must be done in the name of God, all these spendings on others. But some of them may say, God didn't feed them, didn't provide for them. So we are doing something better. So as if some of them say we are correcting the mistakes of nature. Some of them say this. These are their claims. We understand that these claims are everywhere. Nowadays, but they are not deliberately. Nowadays, what, as far as my experience tells me, they are not deliberately enemies of the prophets, although they may not believe in the prophetic message. They may not follow the prophetic message that brings to them for their life principles. Now, this is what the reality is. Why these people say so? This is why I wonder. In antum illa fi dalalim mubin. You must be deeply misguided. Why do they say this? We said because this verse, this last piece, is related to the following verse. That is why we left it out last week, because it is related to this. We are going to study and connect them together. وَيَقُولُونَ مَتَى هَذَا الْوَعْدُ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. So we will study together the last bit with the following verse. But I have a question here. Can a Muslim say the same as the unbelievers say? It means, let's put it in this way, when they are asked, spend on others for their sustenance out of what God has provided for you. And these people may say, why should we feed those that God could feed if he wanted? So let us apply it to a very real Muslim life nowadays. So my question is, I wanted to try a new method of studying the verses together with you, but you must be brave enough and open and concentrate on the verse and try to understand together and speak out, please. Yeah, speak out what you think, but concentrate on the verse as much as you can. Don't keep yourself busy with something else and at the same time overhearing what is taught here. Actively engaged so that we can really have a live, interactive communication and discussion. Can a Muslim say the same thing as the unbelievers say? What do you think? Without denying God and without being an unbeliever, but they may say the same thing in some cases. In some cases. Any idea? Please speak up. So let's have a friendly discussion here. And we are spending 1 hour here, 1 hour, and at least this 1 hour once a week must worth spending, inshallah. Muawiyah, go ahead.
I just wanted some clarification on your question. So, are you saying like, I mean, obviously through free will they can say whatever they want, but would it be Are you asking like, would it be contradictory for them to say as the unbeliever would say in this verse or in the whole Quran as a whole?
No, no. No, not in the same way that the disbelievers say, thank you, that God has provided for you, sorry, spent on others for their sustenance out of what God has provided for you. So some Muslims may say that, not necessarily challenging the prophets, of course, believers, they say in their practical life, why should we feed those that God could feed if he wanted? There is one interesting area that even their tongue may not say it, but their behavior in the Muslim world, generally speaking, are saying this, in fact, are saying this. Not, I'm not going to spend on others, but of course we have to understand, in fact, last week we studied this, spending on others for their sustenance out of what God has provided for you. In fact, is of a nafaka. Nafaka is a word, enfaka. This form is enfaka here. It means providing for something which this person really needs it for his life, really needs it. Not only entertaining. So, for example, inviting somebody, some of your friends, to your house for a dinner is not nafaka, is not infaq, this word. It's just being kind and sharing what God has given to you. In fact, it's something is in real and in need of something, and it must be uh, provided. Otherwise, this person's life will be really horrible. Did I make it clear?
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah. So, what do you think? In fact, for now, the most important spending for the essential need of people.
What are my thoughts?
Sorry?
Are you asking like what I think about this phrase here or the verse? Or are you just asking like the specific word in pop?
No, Maria, I don't know why, but I didn't understand. Can you please say something more?
I was kind of just asking for clarification on are you talking about the specific word in thought, or are you talking about like my thoughts on this the verse as the whole verse?
So, what do you understand from spending for the essential needs of others? What are they?
It's for me it sounds like charity or feeding the poor or maybe like providing for an orphan. Um but
Providing what? Providing what?
for an orphan? An orphan or
Yes. For
yeah, I mean someone
food,
in need.
food,
Yeah, food. If someone doesn't have clothes, maybe clothes, a place
yes,
to stay,
and yes,
a place to stay. Yeah, shelter. Sorry.
and
And why?
now, what I'm pushing. What do you think the most essential need of human being of a human being is?
Belief? I mean, because without belief, there's no purpose. Or are you talking about like physical need?
You are speaking physically, thinking.
Answer to human questions, I would say.
Sorry,
Answer to the human questions.
human questions need to be answered. Correct? Even look, food, clothing, shelter are related to my body. Yes, I need to survive bodily. That is correct. But everybody is taking care of them. Everybody is trying to feed the needy, regardless of their belief. What is missed out? Essential need of humanity is to have security in their existence, to have meaning for their life, and satisfaction for their expectations. Satisfaction for their expectations. Muawiyah, are you with me?
I am completely with you. I got confused because I'm looking at the translation and I saw the word feed and I thought of it in a physical sense. I didn't realize that
Although
we were talking about.
that is why we have to expand and figure their sustenance. Now we understand their sustenance. Sorry, why did we go there? Yeah. Now, their sustenance to feed those that God could feed if they feed. And not anymore. Now, we are speaking about for Muslims now, Muawiyah. So we have to expand this meaning. So for Muslims, also may say that I'm not going to now. We have to be here, yeah, clear about it. I'm not going to provide for those people who are lost in their human sight. They have no meaning, no purpose in their life. They reduce their life to bodily existence only. So this essential need of human beings, where God, all the Qur'an, God really emphasizes on the importance of believe in God, believe in the hereafter, believe in Qadr, believe in revelation, and believe in the messengership so that you will follow. Otherwise, your life will be horrible in the hereafter. You have to get ready for the hereafter, Muawiyah, because we have to take these kind of verses within the context of the Quranic teaching, which is most appropriate to human needs. Human needs. Yes, Muawiyah.
So 100% I agree with everything you've said. But now I had a kind of a question on this point is that why, and this might be because I have a limited understanding of the Arabic, but why was the word feed used instead of like the word help? Because help would be a little bit more open to both physical and spiritual assistance, right?
So feeding, yes, that is what we have to understand. For example, they said food for thought. Isn't that English?
Yes, but
Yeah,
yes.
food for thought. It means the prophets. Do you think the prophets are sent to satisfy the needs, bodily needs of human beings, Muawiyah? Let's expand our understanding. That is the purpose of this lesson. This
Definitely not. I'm so sorry to interrupt. I agree with you, and I can see where you're going, but I'm just kind of asking about this word feed. Like, why was the word feed like this word specifically instead of like help or assistance?
now that is why we have to train ourselves. That is how we have to train ourselves in this discussion. The other feeding, the food like body, feeding body. Do you think God, that is why we are trying to understand the verse, the ayah, within the context of the purpose of the Quran. Do you think God is sending prophets to provide food for the body of human beings? Let's start
No.
from here.
No.
Yeah, go ahead. Do you
Oh,
think?
I was gonna say, no, simply they have a greater purpose than that.
Now, there is much, much, much more important matter that human beings need guidance. For example, even the atheists, they don't believe in God. They don't follow the prophet. They don't really believe in religion, and they may be indifferent to religion. But without getting guidance from the revelation, don't they spend on others?
Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
Now, the atheist people, do they believe in God? By definition, no. Do they believe in prophets? No. Have they read any revelation? No. But do they still feed other people?
Yes,
Now,
sometimes.
it means the prophetic mission is not for the purpose of feeding the body. That is what we have to understand the verse within the context of the Qur'an. The prophets are not sent to teach people that they should feed the needy. They don't need it. Everybody knows from their conscience, from their own human feelings, that anybody needs help, they can help. But what is missing, the prophets are sent to fulfill the mission of what is missed in human life. They don't feed their spirit. Yeah. Would you like to say something? Anyone?
I actually, yeah. So I mean, why? So if I agree with you, so but if we look at the verse, why doesn't it say, why should we? And we can say like spiritually help those that God could guide if He wanted to.
Uh, that is the problem. Good. Now, Quran speaks to everyone. So everybody will understand the Quran from his perspective and benefit from it. Now, this verse speaks to everyone, but depending on your understanding of feeding. Now, the prophet message is given to them and conveyed to the people in order to teach them that you understand that you are given the sense of the need to feed the needy ones. I am here to help you to feed your need, which is missing in your understanding of life. That is why they say, you understand that you are, they may not believe in it, they believe, they understand that they have the feeling to feed the needy ones, right? To feed the needy ones. Now the prophet is saying, I am here to feed your human needs of your human side. So we agree on the same platform. We are on the same page. But your understanding of need, feeding, but my understanding of feeding is not, of course, rejecting that we shouldn't feed people's need for bodily needs. We shouldn't reject people's bodily needs. But starting from there, let's continue now. Let's continue. So that, look, You need food, okay. You need water, okay, I understand. But you need also satisfaction for your human desires. That is why I am here, the Prophet will tell them. Because the whole Quranic message is what? To satisfy people's human needs. Are you with me? Anyone here? Anyone?
I'm with you. I understand. My initial understanding of the verse was a little different, but I think yours is a little better.
Yeah.
Is that-
The first revealed verses of the Quran, the first revelation, speaks to general people's already existing understandings. So they will say the Prophet is not speaking nonsense. Of course, we have to feed people, but these people are opposing the Prophet uh, in the context. And they are opposing the Prophet. That is why they think that it is not God is asking them, their Creator asking them to feed the needy people, but this person is giving me the advice. So they are challenging the Prophet here, saying that, yeah, you say, why should we feed those that God could feed if he wanted, arguing with the Prophet? That's why you must be deeply misguided. They accuse him. It means, who are you to teach me? If I want, I know that I'm going to feed it. So you say God is ordering this. Come on, I know it. I know it. So the Muslims may say today, not about the food. I am sure all Muslims agree that we have to take care of human bodily needs, feeding them. They contribute as well. They don't say, as the enemies of the prophets said, why should we feed those that God could feed if he wanted? They say, yes, God created us in this way, so we are doing this. We are also going to help. Of course they do. And everybody agrees on this. Now they would say, okay, the prophet is not saying something strange, but let's come for the believers, Muslims, as far as the purpose of the revelation, purpose of the prophethood, messengership, for God to send the messengers to human beings, is to feed their human needs. It means they have to know they have a creator, they have an owner who is taking care of them, and they have to know that this life is just a training place, education place. They have to know it, because if I didn't teach them God is speaking, if I didn't teach them this, they wouldn't find the answer to their human needs in the universe. So they wouldn't find the answer there. So what they would do, they will be left without no answer. That is why God sends revelation and employs prophets to human beings. That is the purpose. But the prophets start from the very basic common understanding. Let's feed the need from there, need of the poor people. But those people understand for food. But prophet includes the food, but of course the purpose, ultimate purpose is to convey his message to them that your God, here is the emphasis is here, out of what God has provided for you. Are you with me? Out of what God has provided for you. Emphasis is uh, teaching them, trying to teach them that whatever they are given is given by God. They didn't create them. I think it is a little bit, is it a little bit clear now?
Yes, thank you.
Starting from the common base, but of course, what is added here, spend on others for their sustenance out of what God has provided for you. Now, introducing God and also obeying God, not necessarily that their feelings are independently existing in them. God has given this feeling. So, Muslims don't say about food. They agree with everyone else that we have to feed the materially or bodily needs. That is fine. Now let's come to this point. There is another way that the Muslims say the same things. What is that? Oh, I am a businessman. I have my job, etc., etc. So why, if someone needs guidance, look, God will provide them guidance, will guide them, guide. God would guide them. So I have to take care of myself. Even they may be, the Muslims may be practicing Muslims, still they may feel indifference in their responsibility to convey the message to others, saying that if Allah gives them hidayah, guidance, they will be guided. I have to take care of my family responsibilities and reduce their life to feeding the body. We may do this as well. So we have to work hard, spend time on learning what God sent us and share it with others. Now, including Muawiyah and others, what do you think the case is, the point is clear for you? I am trying to make. So we have to take care of our responsibility to learn the message and convey the others, because this is the neglected part of our life nowadays. Does it make sense? What do you think?
Yes, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, inshallah, that's why we are here. Correct? Any more points that you would like to share? No?
So, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Not
When
only,
I
yeah.
so when I first looked at this verse, or when I had the interpretation, I was kind of looking, and this is kind of my background from our previous discussions. We were talking about how at the third stage, or I think it was, I forgot what we called it, but you're like a transparent being and you're reflecting the rays of the sun. I think it was the draw, I'm not sure. But I was thinking that, oh, when you're so in of itself, all of our sustenance is provided from God, right? None of it is we don't own any of it. right? And so we were in a state of neediness and we were provided it from God. So when we go and we provide and we give what we've been given to others, we're almost like reflecting the sun in that analogy, we're reflecting the names of the creator so that others can also find it.
Yeah. Inshallah, thank you for your explanation. But if we do this kind of interactions, one thing in this interactive discussion or trying to understand the verse, one thing is very important, Muawiyah. That is not an accusation. I wanted this. Don't go to past. We are learning together. Why I said this? Because, it is past. Forget about it. It is past. Did we agree now at the end? Did we get this, say, yeah, your prophetic mission is really not to feed the body, but to feed the spirit of human beings. But why God says this food here, feeding others? Because this is the common ground. That's what we explained. Understood. But I thought it was, that is over. This is over. Let's not spend all by going back. So thank you for your, of course, joining the conversation and making it interactive. I'm very happy. But I would ask other friends here, do you think this kind of interactive asking questions and trying to get some answers from you is a better way of study or not? At least say your ideas.
I think it works this way as well.
Is it useful or destructive?
Useful.
Anyone else would like to share his idea, his impression?
So my perspective is I'm from a different state, so I'm always online. And sometimes it looks like you're in a lecture hall and you're talking to like, I don't know if it's like you're talking to people in person. So I don't know if it's like sometimes if it's appropriate for me to interrupt like your lecture. But the ones like today, where it's a more of a smaller group, I actually enjoy the interactive method, but sometimes like I don't have anything to say, but
Okay.
you're asking for an opinion.
All right, that is understandable, Muawiyah. But at the same time, try to join and try to get the message. Not only you, every one of us here. Try to get the message. So without going back, that is important because it becomes defensive. It's for you, for me, the same. So last point, we agreed. That's it. Alhamdulillah. Thank God. Alhamdulillah. We got this point now. All right. You must be deeply misguided. That has come here. Why? Why do they say this? It becomes clear in the following verse. Now, وَيَقُولُونَ مَتَى هَذَا الْوَعْدُ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. And they say, when will this promise of the resurrection what be fulfilled if you speak the truth? Now, we understand that the opponents of the prophets they challenged prophet, when this promise of the resurrection be fulfilled, when it's going to be. Just tell us. The question is why I wrote this question is, why do you think they asked this challenging question? Because one option I will give you, as far as I understand, of course, they don't believe that a prophet really is the prophet of God. They are employed by God. That is why they think it is his opinion. His opinion. He made it up. They don't believe in it. That's why in the previous verse they said, you must be deeply misguided. Why? You are lost. You are just making it up. They understood this part? I'll come to the next part. Is this part understood? They don't believe in the prophet as employed by God. That is why they say you are just, misguided. It means you don't know what they are talking about. You are just making it up. And because the prophets come with the news of the hereafter, always, resurrection. So, for example, you said this promise of resurrection or the promise of calamities. This what means, right? A resurrection, but actually I must write it here as well. It means calamities as well. Yeah, right. In the Quranic context, all the calamities that if you oppose the prophet, definitely you will be destroyed in this world. But resurrection included, of course. So I say, they don't believe in the prophets and they think that he is himself making it up. That's why they are challenging the prophet, because they know that he cannot bring the calamity. No, only God, maybe, if they believe in God, or this kind of people may have something, but the calamities may happen, may have some belief. Anyways, they ask this question, that's my answer. They ask this question because they don't believe that the prophets are employed by God, and they think that prophet himself making it up, himself is making it up, and they are sure that it cannot happen to them because prophet cannot bring the calamities. That is what my answer is. Would you agree with this answer? Anyone?
Yes, I think it's within reason.
Okay. So inshallah we can continue. Now, of course, we have to bear in mind that the word white, translated as resurrection or calamity, has two meanings. In one sense, resurrection, in another sense, calamities. So, and also death. human death. We have to bear in mind that human death is also the destruction of our life. It means calamity for us. As it appears to be on the surface. Not for the believers, he knows that it is deliberately created, and it is the only way to be resurrected in the next creation, and the paradise and hell must be set, and everybody get his own whatever they acquire or they deserve. That is what generally Quran brings this news, and the believers accept this. Now, those the non-believers don't accept this. Disbelievers don't accept this, and God tells them, "Look, you are going to experience this now." Shall we read the verse 49 now? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون. Now, but all they are waiting for is a single blast that will overtake them while they are still arguing with each other. Now, arguing about what? I put it in the bracket, they are arguing about the possibility of resurrection or possibility of calamities will come. Both meanings. Do you think it may be true? Yeah. Do you think it may come? Is it possible? They are arguing about this. I wrote a point here, a question here. But nowadays, we don't experience such destruction. Do we experience such destruction nowadays? And my question is, why don't we experience it?
It depends on how we're defining destruction. If we define destruction as transience or the passing of time, then we are consistently experiencing deaths of different sorts. And are also at the same time resurrection of different sorts as well.
Yes, but the Quran gives physical examples about destruction. We destroyed these people with wind or earthquake or flood. These physical descriptions are given in the Quran. But of course, we don't see any, for example, after the Prophet Muhammad والسلام, received the message and there were, and also delivered it to people, there were many people who rejected Islam. Even they took some inimical attitude towards Islam, but destruction never happened throughout 1400 years. Why? How do we understand this Quranic description of destructions? How do we understand this? I thought this people also may say, look, everything is natural nowadays. Everything is happening according to natural laws and nothing changes. Nothing miraculously happens. Nothing miraculously happens. So we cannot really believe in this message, which says we destroyed these people, by creating something extraordinary. Although the description of the Quran doesn't say it is extraordinary, they say, of course, flood. Flood may happen. It is within the order of the universe. For example, wind. Yes, a storm, strong storm may happen. It is within the order of the universe. It is sometimes it happens here and there. This kind of uh, distractions or this kind of calamities may happen, but especially for these people. I thought there is a verse in the Quran talk about it, and it helps us to understand this one from section Qasas, 28th section of the Quran, and verse 59. وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ مُهْلِكَ الْقُرَى حَتَّى يَبْعَثَ فِي أُمِّهَا رَسُولًا يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِنَا وَمَا كُنَّا مُهْلِكِي الْقُرَى إِلَّا وَأَهْلُهَا ظَالِمُونَ. Now, I will read the translation and we will understand generally what the verse is saying. Your Lord would never destroy towns without first raising a messenger in their midst. Without first raising a messenger in their midst. Now, the messenger must come and be among them. في أمها. Some people understood it in the center cities, capital cities of the area, to recite our message to them, nor would we destroy towns unless their inhabitants were evildoers. Now, what I read from my previous readings, what I understood from this verse, first of all the narrations in the Quran about the destruction of the enemies, rejectors of the prophets, took place while the prophets were with them. Have you noticed this? While the prophets were with them. And what God asked the prophets, take your believers, all the believers with you, out of the town, and the destruction comes to the deniers, those people who didn't believe. Now we have to think nowadays, during the Prophet Muhammad والسلام's time, the Prophet left Mecca, and Mecca was not destroyed. Have you wondered why? Okay, I understand that Mecca wasn't destroyed because in other verses also explains in section Fatih, 48th section of the Quran, section Fatih. So, inna fatahna laka fathan mubina. It is very frequently recited section among the Muslims. If there were not some believing women and some believing men and believing women we would destroy them. But there were some believing people in Mecca because only the leaders opposed the Prophet Muhammad والسلام. Common people were not really rejecting the Prophet. That's why they are not destroyed, although the Prophet left the city. According to this verse, while without first raising a messenger in their midst. Of course, the Prophet was raised as a messenger in their midst. And he was reciting God's messages to them. So after he left, the rest will be destroyed. Now, the people who left in Medina were not inhabitants, were not the people evildoers. It means rejecting the Prophet. They were just following the leaders without knowing, maybe hesitation, because of the structure, social structure of those people. They were just members of the tribe, and without the help of the tribe, they cannot really survive. That's why they were not destroyed during the Prophet. The other times also, nowadays, first of all, the Prophet is not among us. The second, the rejectors and the believers are mixed. Rejectors and the believers are mixed. That is why God wouldn't destroy these people after the Prophet Muhammad والسلام's time. That's what I understood from this verse, inshallah, to help us understand the verse here. وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ. So, from here, let's come to this. But all they are waiting for is a single blast that will overtake them while they are still arguing with each other about the possibility of resurrection, because this is a very general attitude of everyone, really, except those very conscious believers. Very general attitude. They are hesitant. Yeah, some of them don't think at all. But majority of the people, I don't know, the religions say that we will be resurrected after death. There will be paradise and hell. But they are hesitant. This وَهُمْ يَخِصِّمُونَ, this, while they are arguing with each other, it means among themselves, among each other, within their own feelings also, they are arguing. Do you think it may be true? I don't know. Maybe, no, may not be. No one is coming back. This argument is going on, and suddenly what comes now? Destruction comes, but this destruction is not a general destruction. Death comes. Suddenly death comes to them. That will be their destruction. Until the end of their life, they are all arguing within themselves with others. Do you think religion is correct? I don't know these religious people. Whether, we don't know whether really God exists, God doesn't exist. Everybody says something, especially nowadays. Everybody's mind is really confused a lot. So we don't experience, my conclusion is the time is up. My conclusion is this: we don't experience such destruction because there is no prophet among us, and because the people are mixed, believers and unbelievers everywhere, and also people are not directly rejecting the prophets. If the common people of a tribe, for example, of a city, completely opposes the prophet, then destruction comes. But there is no such case in the world now, and after the prophet also there was no such case in the world. So let's cover lastly the following verse. فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون. So I asked this point here: what is the significance of unexpected destruction of the time? They will have no time to make a will, nor shall they return to their family. It means it will suddenly come. You know, in our life, we always experience this. It will suddenly come, nor they will return. Why? We keep postponing, and suddenly we hear that we have a disease or we have some sort of sicknesses, and time is up that we are going to die. Until the time of death, we keep hesitating. People keep hesitating. People keep arguing. Arguing, not necessarily sitting together and arguing with each other. No. I mean, in this hesitation, I see the most important matter of this age is, as they call it, agnosticism. Agnosticism is exactly this position. They are arguing. It may be true, it may not be true. Yeah, well, keep questioning this without any having a sure understanding. For example, if I know that I'm going to die definitely, I will get my will, and if needed, write down. You understand the make a will, ne? Wasiya in Arabic, wasiya. So I will make it. I will write it. If I'm not sure, I will keep postponing. Postponing may not be, may not be. This age is the age of agnosticism in general, but very exceptional cases, of course. Believers are exceptional and in great number, and very little number disbelievers. They don't believe, the disbelievers, but they are not the majority of the people. We don't think, I mean, you are living here in the US. Do you think the people deliberately denying religion or just negligence? Can you share your experience with me, just even if you like, briefly, if you like, speak as much as you want? Do you think people deliberately deny God, the people around you?
From what I've seen, they just it's a little bit of negligence. They don't want to approach the topic. Like I've even like introduced the discussion in an open manner. They actually brought it up, and then as soon as I started to speak with them, they said, actually, I don't want to go to this topic right now. Depart from the topic.
Because they don't know what the prophet is saying. But general public in your city, they are really enemies. Are they really enemies of the Prophet, or they say it is not for me? No, but well-educated ones may take a stand, but general public, I'm sorry, people in the street. I feel in my sorry, Muawiyah, go ahead.
I haven't really interacted with the general public in because I'm on campus as a student, so I didn't really leave campus. I wouldn't know. I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyone else would like to say anything about this? In my neighborhood, these people, they live here without taking any stand, really. I see them, for example, they don't oppose me being a Muslim and practicing. We have a masjid here. They don't really oppose. More negligence, in my opinion, H. Beza says. Yes, negligence, generally seeing. But if you are working in an atmosphere or in a company or in a place where educated people are intellectually arguing, yes, they may find somebody who doesn't believe, but they are not enemies of the prophets. Very rare people are enemies of the prophet. That's what my experience tells me. But they may say, I don't believe, but they are mostly indifferent, mostly, or ordinary people. That is why we don't see any distraction. But of course, death is inevitable at the end, whether through calamities or through normal death. Everybody will experience it. So we have to take care of our life, and we have to really get ready that we are going to die anytime. So inshallah, we have to decide and settle down our life, inshallah. If you want to say anything more, please go ahead. Otherwise, I will stop here for today. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله